Welcome back to our Canaries Walk. What a game that was. Norwich 3, Borough 3, the best game all season. Thank you, Norwich. We are reviewing that. And, of course, we're asking that question about Long. Is he costing us points? And should he start another game again? We're also going to talk about Cardiff coming up and get these guys to vote the October Player of the Month. And finally, we're asking you and these guys, which 3 teams do you detest the most as a Norwich fan in the Championship and would like to see relegated this season? Let's jump straight into it then. Good evening, fellas. I'm pretty sure you enjoyed that Borough game. Matty, you are, of course, local to the area and have lots of Borough friends, so you must have enjoyed that.
I enjoyed full time. I'm not sure that after the first goal went in, I'm not sure I enjoyed a great deal more of it. It's always a stressful experience playing Borough. Playing Borough for me is like it's on par with maybe even if not worse than playing Ipswich. Like there's that level of anxiety and like sweaty palms and the antiperspirant was doing its hard work yesterday. But we got there in the end. We got a deserved point, I think, and I'm just glad it's done for a few months till we go back up there at the end of the season.
Jacob, are they the best team you've played so far this season?
You could say that, but then again, Leeds were up there. They played really good football under Daniel Farker, but the way Borja played in the first half, getting the ball up forward and when Slimane failed to cut in and get rid of the Borja player, he did really well, the Borja player, to run in and cross the ball in, beat Duffy in pace, and that was the second goal, I think. So they played really well.
Yeah, we have to recognise Owen, don't we? We have to recognise the Fortress. Was there a point, Owen, where you thought this home record is going to just fall short in that game?
Yeah, I think it was about half time. Sort of the nerves built up massively. Then my mind sort of switched to the record. We're actually going to lose this on the last game. Are we going to fall at the last hurdle? It would be such a Norwich thing to happen, but I'm thankful that we kept it going. Yeah,
1 calendar year on being at home. That's some doing, isn't it, in this league? It's really competitive. So good on you. Good on you. All right, let's talk about the negatives. Couple of negatives then before we talk about some of the good points. The Twitterati were going mad for Long midweek, and Preston, and he didn't escape criticism again here. Talk to me if this is unfair, but let's run through some of them. Josh actually says, fair play, lads, absolutely mental game. I love you, George Long, for the penalty. But then Oliver says, again, we would have won with Gunning goal. Another one here. Have a word with Hoff, tell him to drop Long from air, or we riot. Get Long out still, says George Long. So let's tidy this up, shall we, Matty? Does he get another start?
He does by proxy, I think. By default of it's a risk. I sat next to my dad yesterday in the stands and he's whinging about George Long for that first goal and then the second goal. I'm saying, yeah, but it's a risk to throw a kid in there who's, not played at this level before, and you could really damage someone's confidence. Now, if he's good enough, then he's old enough. I know that argument, of course, but I think George Long, the discussion about George Long can't be taken out of the equation, of course, but I actually think that there's a bigger discussion, which is a failure of recruitment to get a good or a better backup keeper, and then to give him a 3-year contract is just ridiculous. So, he's at fault for that first goal, without doubt. And he's been at fault for previous goals. Preston not good at all. But he did, of course, make the penalty save. I was on Radio Norfolk last night, and it was the first thing that I was asked: is he now kind of redeemed? And it's like, not quite, but to quote Roy Keane, that's his job. So yeah, for me, he's still an issue, and it's problematic that we haven't got a better second choice keeper. But he will start on Saturday, I'm pretty sure, because it's risky to put a young lad in.
What about for you, Jacob? Did he redeem himself with the Conway penalty?
With the penalty, it was a rubbish penalty, really. So it would be a bit embarrassing if he didn't save. It was a bit like a Jorginho type penalty, but yeah, I think saving that kind of got him on the good side, despite all the criticism he's had within the last few weeks.
Okay. Let's focus on the positives, though, because that was some game, especially for the neutrals. So, again, thank you we needed that. I think the Championship hasn't had a game like that this season. So yeah, we called it as well last week, I think, on this channel, didn't we? It was going to be a good one. Owen, Sainz is going to grab the headlines, of course, for he's just started his own goal of the month competition, isn't he? But who else stood out for you?
I thought Schwartau, when he came on, was very, very immaculate with some really neat turns he had in the midfield, and it sort of changed the tide of the game, or at least how I saw it.
Defensively, if any of you got any worries at the moment, just conceding two to Preston early on, and then conceding 3 to Borough, especially I think their second goal, which was the breakaway. What's happened to you guys defensively in this week? It's doesn't seem to be as watertight as we've seen it in the past.
I'm hesitant to blame the keeper too much, but that is the biggest difference if you look at some of the performances and clean sheets here and see, the biggest difference is we've changed our number one keeper. And I think there's a lot to be said for a back four, because he would change the back four as well. You'd started Preseni, and then he's moved Doyle out from centre back to left back. So them back that as a back four with Cordoba coming in alongside Duffy, he's obviously started to get a little bit of a partnership, and then obviously Gunn's out of the picture and you've got a new keeper. So I think there's probably a combination between the keeper not being up to standard, but also the back four has maybe just lost that bit of trust and that kind of mini bond that they might have built early on within a game or game and a half or so, and that's out the window, isn't it? So but it's a bit concerning how easy we were broken against and played through. And again, to go back to transfer windows, and we've done all right in the transfer window, but we haven't brought in a proper holding midfield, and I think that's another big issue for it. That back four is maybe not getting as much protection as it needs.
Mm-hmm. Sainz is going to put himself in the shop window, Jacob. How much is he worth at the moment?
Oh, hard to say. I think he definitely needs the whole season to show how much he's going to score. I think he's going to score over 20. But for now, I'd say 10 million, but it's probably going to go up easily.
Okay. I feel bad, Owen, because I think 2 or 3 games in, we were criticising him here for having a bad attitude. I think he's shoved our words right down his throat, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's made us eat our words, but maybe he's been listening, gotten the finishing drills.
Okay. Couple of draws though. Progress has stunted a little bit. If that game at Preston would have gone on another 20 minutes, I'm sure you would have won that. Cardiff away next. Owen, does this become a must-win if you want to keep in touch with that early pack?
It's a should win, but I don't think we will win.
Why is that?
It's just a very leaky defence at the moment. I can't sort of hold them to any standards after what we've seen recently.
This is a resurgent Cardiff side as well, Matty, isn't it? Would you take a draw?
I guess so, but then you 4 draws in the balance. It's a bit like, oh, what's going on? I don't know. I'm hesitant to slag us off too much for the point that we picked up against Preston, because yes, we shouldn't have considered those 2 goals, but to show the fight back and the tactical nous from Hoftorp to change things how he did again against Middlesbrough to come back from a 2-goal deficit. Yeah, we had 2 tricky away games which we drew. I think we should have beaten Stoke. As you say, if it had gone on a bit longer, we might have beaten Preston. And had McLean not got sent off yesterday in that last sort of 8 to 10 minutes or whatever it was, they were crumbling. I'd have fancied us to have nicked it 4-3, which would have been unbelievable. But would I take a draw? I guess so, but I think we need to win. Not as in for top 6 or any sort of aspirations per se, but more just to get that winning feeling back and to get the fans the fans are very much on board, of course, but just to get a little bit more feel good back into the club and the fans. I think we need to win.
Okay, that's fair comment. Jacob, would you make any changes for Cardiff, or start with the same 11 that started against Borough?
So I saw something that Fisher should go into Kenny's position and put Cresceni at right back, but I think who is it? Forson. He might come in for McLean if it doesn't get overturned, which I don't think it will because we can't run the risk. But yeah, that's about it really. And then obviously George Long wouldn't be ideal, but that's what we have to stick with, I guess.
Okay. Before we move on then from this, let's talk about red card and refereeing decisions going for or against you. Owen, what was your view of the sending off?
I can see why it's been given, but looking at the replays, it's a bit silly. It's not above the ankle. It's not a red card for me, but I can see why it's been given.
Matty?
At the time, I honestly thought the lad had like jumped over him and died. I was sat in the back, and it happened very quickly. I've seen a still. Stills are always, you've got to be careful with a still, haven't you? But I've seen a still. It does catch him high. It's not good. I genuinely don't think McLean's the type of player that would go in to hurt someone. I think he's gone in to foul him. He's gone in to get a yellow card and to buy one for the team and to break the play up like we all would. But I genuinely think the lad's just that little bit quicker, and he's got past him or he's got at him quicker than he realises. As McLean's tried to just foul him, he's gone in with his stud accidentally and he's caught him maybe a bit higher than he intended to. I don't think it'll be overturned. I think 10 years ago it's a yellow card. Now it's a red card. It might be an orange, but I think it's a red card in modern day football. I wouldn't mind seeing Fisher in the middle and Stacey at right back, but I think it'll probably be Schwartau maybe. I think it's a bit of a risk to start Fisher, and that would be another disruption to the back four, which I'm not sure we need at the moment. Stacey's a good right back, but I'd like to keep that back four settled.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it was very, very late, wasn't he? I saw it on the TV, and the TV angle, first of all, looked like he jumped over it, but yeah, it was very, very late. So I think I agree with most of you that was, and the referee was right in front of it as well, wasn't he? Right in front of it. Right. Okay, then. October is now over then in terms of games, so it is time to pick our October player of the month. I imagine that you've all got one name on your lips, but let's see. Jacob, start us off.
Well, it has to be Borja Sainz, doesn't it? He's got 4 goals just like in September, so I don't see why not. He's saved us again and again. So that's about all I have to say, really. Borja Sainz.
Go on, Owen. Make this more interesting. Just about debate.
It's difficult not to pick Sainz, so I'm going to go Sargent. He's been very good this month.
Okay. I think it's officially going to go to Sainz, isn't it, Matty? But anyone else you want to put forward?
Yeah, it's George Long. No, it's not. It's Borja Sainz. Sainz all day. He's been superb, and people will come sniffing. Teams will come sniffing in January, I'm sure. If we can ward them off and value them at something daft like 25, 30 million, then that might keep him at the club to the end of the season when we might be able to get 35 for him. So, yeah, it's you can't look past him, I'm afraid.
Okay. The Cardiff game is quite a monumental game because it's actually the reverse fixture of the last game of the season as well. So when we fast forward to May and Cardiff come visiting and that last day, what's going to be on the line, do you think, Owen? Anything? Nothing?
Hopefully we've already secured playoffs by then. So I'm going to say there's nothing relying on that game.
Yeah. Play the kids game, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. We've changed your tune though, because you were saying at the start of the season, well, a couple of games in about it. I mean, we are all still saying, I'm pretty sure, a transition season and transition year, but to have now already have playoffs wrapped up, it's quite bold, Owen. So we'll hold you to that.
Brilliant. Okay. All right. And finally, then, if you haven't yet subscribed, by the way, please do so. We'd love making this content for you. It's Halloween, of course, in a couple of days prior to recording this, so we are giving you a bit of nastiness to dish out this week. We're asking all our teams which 3 teams get on your nerves the most, and you'd love to see the back of in this championship. Now, Ipswich aren't here, so this is a free shot of any of the other 23. Jacob, whose fans, whose team, who can you just not stand playing? Give us 3.
Leeds United, because no one likes Leeds and we struggle to get results. Preston, because boring football team. I mean, last season we drew 0-0 at our ground, very boring, and probably Burnley.
Okay, all right, interesting. Owen,
the obvious answer is Leeds for number 1. I'm going to go Sheffield United number 2, and I think I've got an open spot for the third one. Whoever we lose to last.
Okay, all right. Okay, you're all getting rid of the competition here, aren't you? Matty, you're getting rid of Borough, I'm imagining.
You read my mind. Middlesbrough, honestly, if I could relegate a team, see you later. I'm going to go a bit more rogue. Yeah, I agree with Leeds are funny. Like, yeah, I dislike Leeds a little bit. Sheffield United, I can't stand Wilder. But the two I would go for is actually, and I really don't want to get geopolitical here, but I would go for Swansea and Cardiff, to be honest. I'd get rid.
Okay.
Hell of a trek. I hate going. I am going. But it's hell of a trek. And I don't know. You haven't got Rangers and Celtic in the English leagues, have you? So anyway, I'm not. I'll get off my soapbox there because I don't want to get pelters in the comments. But yeah, it would be Middlesbrough, Swansea, and Cardiff. Said it now.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, drop us a comment below in terms of the three that you want. In terms of the others, Norwich hasn't featured too many times, but when it has, it's because usually accompanies the phrase of Norwich and Sunderland because the fans think they're a bigger club than what they actually are. Is what we've had so far. So take what you can from that. Thank you very much for watching. Next week, we're, of course, reviewing the Cardiff game and also looking ahead, of course, to the final two games before the next international break. So join us for that. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Owen. Thank you, Matty. Thank you, though.